Hello. We are in another episode of Neighborhood Guided Tours. Today we are gonna go up Panoramica. That's a very popular location that you will hear on and on. So I'm gonna show you a little piece of Panoramica. And we are right across from the CFE office, the electrical company. And we're gonna go up Callejón Quiterío, and then we're gonna take a flatter area and get to Panoramica. So I think if I remember correctly, I show you some of these in one of the past videos when we were in Pastita, and today I'm gonna show you how this looks. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
So it is a little steep, but it's just one stretch of the road. Not all of this is as steep as this one, but remember, you need to take into account that Guanajuato was built in right on top of mountains. So that's why we don't have flat areas. We grow up, not to the sides. I don't know if that's the way you will say it, but we build up el cerro, or the mountain. And this street, Quiterío, has car access. So you can get here in a taxi, or you can have a car and park here. So this is, like I mentioned before in the video of Pastita, this is an area that has tons of houses. So it's way easier to find something to rent or buy, because even if you are closer to Centro, you are not in the commercial area. And so now it becomes flat or flatter. And we have more callejones here. These callejones also take you to Panoramica, but I'm not gonna take those, and I'm gonna go that way. But first I wanted to show you, this is one of the properties we have for rent that I mentioned in the video, and is Casa Iguana. This is the location. So it's on the second floor, and it goes 2 stories up. Below there's a loft. So that's one of the properties we have for rent. Buenas tardes. And well, now we're gonna take the street known as Antiguo Camino del Motor. And this street goes parallel to Pastita, and it goes all the way to Panoramica. This is from the old part of town, which is, like I mentioned one time, it will cover from La Presa to San Javier. This is what you will find like higher, closer, or in the Panoramica. And this would be the newer side of Guanajuato. This is where you will find more bigger constructions and parking. So this looks different. And even if we are close to Panoramica, is relatively quiet. It's not as noisy because you are a little below Panoramica. And we're gonna see like newer buildings in general, and many plots still not, like there's no construction, so there's still chance to grow on this side of town, which, like you saw in my last video, from here to Embajadoras would be probably like a 10-minute walk, more or less. And we are almost reaching Panoramica. This is an important location if you like hiking, because on that side, I mean, we're not gonna walk that way, but on that side of Panoramica, almost like around the corner, there's a hiking trail which will take you to one of the reservoirs. Probably it's like an hour to get there on foot, and there's some locations where there's not wild dogs, but some houses with dogs, so you need to be careful. But it's on that side of town, and we're gonna take this road here. We are now in Panoramica, and I think I have talked about Panoramica a lot, and if you are new to this series, I'm just gonna repeat that Panoramica is pretty much, it means panoramic. No, so it's all the road that you will see like the panoramic view of the city. And this Panoramica, this road, pretty much circles all of the city. So from Presa all the way to San Javier, you can stay on this road pretty much, and you will get to from one end to the other on like both sides of the valley. And it's like below Panoramica, I mentioned there's not many chances to have parking because that's the oldest part of the, like where the city, how the city grew back in the day. But now above Panoramica, that's where the newer buildings are. So you will find parking, you can find gardens for a house. And I mean, I just did it. Maybe it took me, I will check when I'm editing this video, but probably it took me like 5 minutes to get from the bottom up, and that's pretty much what it will take you at any point. It obviously depends on your physical condition. If you are an active person, if you don't have mobility issues, if you like hiking, you will be fine. Many people say, no, it's too far from Centro, but it's not that far. Like as long as you stay on this, like around the downtown area, you should be fine. And okay, so now we see more houses. If you see parking, right? Terrace. Oh, well, yeah. And also, if you're above Panoramica, the views are amazing. That's a huge bonus being above Panoramica. So you have bigger constructions, and also you can have a little bit of more privacy, because when you're in callejones, you are door to door with your neighbors, but here you have more space to grow. This side of Panoramica, I mean, this stretch is not the prettiest, but little by little there's newer houses, nicer ones, and it's a good area to take into consideration, because downtown there's really not much anymore left, and as I mentioned, is very, very old houses. And if you are open to walking a little bit more, then Panoramica is a good option. For example, this is one house that is for sale, and it has parking. It's a one-story, so everything is like a one-story, and it has garden, so that's something to take into consideration. And I think the price was around 150 US, more or less, but I think they have some issues with the title deed, so that's probably the reason why they haven't been able to sell it, because the price is good. It needs some remodelation, but I mean, you have enough. And well, this is what we have talked about before, the dumpster where everybody brings their trash, and this is how the buses will get to your garbage. Like I mentioned, this little stretch is not the prettiest, to be honest, but again, we are trying to show you the reality. Now, there's nice areas, there's not as nice areas. Like picking up the trash is it's not pretty, like you just saw it. It can get really messy, but people here do their best, no? And here is another property. I think it's still for sale, but this is again new construction. They have parking and they have very nice terraces. These are quite small, so no chance for a garden, but they are nice houses. At some point we saw them and we visited them, and they were fine. They were nice. I think the contractor is American, so he made sure everything, like the electric, the plumbing, all of that were like US quality, so to speak. And one thing you need to take into account in Panoramica is the fact that there's convenience stores. We just passed a couple. There's other type of services like a locksmith, like some mechanic shops. I don't know if that's how you say it, but there's mechanics here. And again, it's because you can have like a bigger plot of land, flatter car access. So this is what you will find here. So there's no restaurants and no coffee shops, but like I mentioned, no, if you walk maybe like 10 minutes, you will be right by cafetal or a pastry shop. So that's something that you need to think about. No coffee shops, no pastries, no restaurants. There's a few places that I think around the corner there's a place that sells pizza, but that's about it. There's not a lot of options up here. But if you have pets, everybody walks their pets on this Panoramica, and it's very, very common to see people with their dogs or running or cycling. I can't remember if I mentioned that before, but Guanajuato has a big community of runners and people who like to ride their bicycles. And there's always people running here. This is the pizza place I was mentioning before. And there's a plot of land, I think is here, is for sale. And I think has the foundation. Like they were building it and for some reason they stopped. And now they are selling the project. I mean, I'm sorry, it's this one here. This is the one. So there's a project to build the house and the plot of land. And this area we reach here, we know it as Guijas. So on that side, Guijas, this side is Panoramica Guijas. And on this location is where you will find nicer homes and a big expat community. There's a lot of expats around here. And Guijas is quite popular because in general it's safe. There's a lot of Mexican families living here on this area, and it's really popular. It's hard to find places for rent here or for sale. It's really hard. So if you like or you would think about Panoramica, this will be a name to keep in mind, which is Guijas. And this road right here, if you would walk down that way, in the video of Pastita, I show you the office of Festival Cervantino, and that callejon will take you exactly to that spot. Maybe like in 4 minutes you will be there. I took the long route just because I wanted to show you a bigger tour, so that you could see what's Panoramica. There's a sidewalk here, so it's pretty much okay to walk in Panoramica. I know many places in the States, they are more used for car transit and there's no sidewalks, so it can get dangerous. But on this side of Panoramica, I mean, coming back to Guanajuato, to the scenario in Mexico. In Mexico, many people cannot afford a car, and that's why having sidewalks is very important. You will always find sidewalks. If there's maybe stretches of roads where there's not a lot of people living there, then you won't see sidewalks. But because this is very popular, there's a sidewalk and you won't get run over by a car. But yeah, This still Panoramica Guijas. We're almost near to Callejón Temezcuitate that I want to show you. That's exactly where Cafetal is. And we're gonna go down that way. There's in this purple building right here, there's a bakery, but I'm not sure if in that place they only bake the cakes or if they also sell cakes. But it's not a proper place where you can sit and have a coffee and have a piece of cake. As far as I know, if they sell, they will only sell the big, like the whole cake, not smaller portions. There's another mechanic right here. We also had these apartments to the left on our website. Right now, I think all of them are taken. Usually they are run as Airbnbs, and the owner sometimes leaves one or two free to rent. I mean, available for longer periods of time. But this is one location that has some apartments for long-term rent. And there's a bus that runs along this Panoramica. Like on this side of town, you will take the one that says Cerro del Cuarto, because where we went up and we bump into La Panoramica, and we then turn to the left. So to the left, that's where you will find Cerro del Cuarto. So that's the bus you will need to take, and it's gonna drop you anywhere here. So you have different options like getting an Uber, a taxi, or getting the bus. Now we just got to Temezcuitate. This is one of the most known callejones to go up and down from Centro to Panoramica Guijas. And this is what I wanted to show you. And right here, look at that view. I mean, I don't know if you can see it like I see it, but it's amazing. Like the views in Panoramica are, I mean, there's no way you can see this from like downtown. And this right here is one of the houses we have for short-term rent in our website called Casa Jewel. And Temezcuitate on this point, you have cars that can go in and out, so you have chances to find a parking spot. And also, if you take a taxi and you are further down, you could be dropped where the truck is turning around, and even like down below, and walk just a little bit. But Temezcuitate has both car access and only walking. And again, Temezcuitate is, because it's a little bit like, this is a weird callejon because it has that car access, but also has chances to have a garden. I mean, just look at this tree, it's gorgeous. In person is, I'm sure it's way prettier than what you can see in the video. But Temezcuitate is an interesting callejon. And if we are gonna keep going straight, but to that side, if you take that side, is where you could find Casa Chan, which was very popular. And to this side is where Mejia Mora is located. And we are planning to do a video explaining a little bit about Mejia Mora, but we're gonna keep going down Temezcuitate. And there's another video we have of one house for sale here in this callejon, Temezcuitate. I will leave the link on this video, but what we have mentioned before in some of the tours is about dropping materials and like removing debris. And Temezcuitate at least has the advantage that you can, like, at least they can drop the materials over there and then they can bring them down. So it's not like a long walk, so to speak. And also here to the left, there's car access. So that's that street. So you could drop people could drop your materials here and then you could go down. And that's gonna help a lot with the cost. And since so many people use Temezcuitate to go up and down, this is also an area where, like I have said before, maybe at night you need to be careful always in the callejones, but during the day there's usually neighbors keeping an eye on each other and also police officers, because this is a callejon that many people use. There's other callejones, but maybe not as safe. So I would not advise you to take those callejones. Better just to stay here in Temezcuitate, which is one of the biggest popular ones. And this house here with the kind of green grayish looking wall, this is one of the videos that we have on the website. It's a house for sale, and that house is in pretty good conditions. I mean, you will have to update bathrooms, and there's no kitchen in the way that you will need to get the cabinets and all of that. I mean, there's a space for the kitchen, but there's no cabinets or anything. So those would be the biggest expenses. But if you don't mind like living and then like start remodeling little by little, that could be an option. And if I remember well, this pink house was also on the market. I don't know if it already sold or not, but I remember that one was on the market at least, yeah, like last month or a couple months ago. I saw it advertised. And there's a couple of Airbnbs here in Temezcuitate. I think this blue one is an Airbnb, and it was remodeled. And we are almost near the main street. And right here is Cafetal, where you see that little tree, that's the two buildings of Cafetal. And Sangre de Cristo, I think you can already see it with the taxi, the cars going by. So that was it, that was the tour, and I hope you enjoyed it and got to know a little bit more about our city. And as always, please feel free to send us an email with questions or any request. Some of you have already reached out to us and we were super happy and excited, so please reach out. We will be super happy to hear from you and to hear your feedback, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.